Heads up kids, this one's not a YouTube poop, so if you're already not interested, that's okay. For those of you who didn't immediately close the video after I said that and have been paying attention, you'll know that I was doing a university course but dropped out due to it being a massive waste of time. However, I did decide to stick around to finishing my major project, partly because I still wanted to make it, and also because I didn't want to needlessly screw over John, my creative partner, because he's a nice bloke, and I'm not a selfish jackass. The following vid is a cheeky little documentary we cooked up regarding broadcast television and how it's going down the plug hole. It's a little janky in structure, but that's because we only had a month to make it, so we couldn't spend a great deal of time fussing about every little thing. Had I had it my way, we would have spent a month on the writing alone. Anyways, for what we did, I think it's turned out rather well, and I'm really proud of my editing. I figured sharing it with you lot would be fun. Then again, this has always been my channel, so I'll put whatever I damn well please on it. Right, that's it. Enjoy the doco, or don't. I really couldn't care less.
Good evening, and welcome to television.
Back here in the Lucky Country, we had 3 channels, all exclusively black and white. I can remember when Channel 10 first opened, it was a big thing. 4 channels, but we were stuck that way for many, many years. TV in those days also shut down at 11, 12 o'clock, which was good in a way because it did save us from infomercials. The telly was like a piece of furniture. Ours was even made of teak. And it came with stereo speakers. Though I'm pretty sure they didn't broadcast in stereo then. In a few years' time, when colour came out, we had to go to friends' places to see it because the telly was too good to update. In 1925, John Logie Baird, a Scottish engineer, demonstrated the first television. In fact, we celebrate him more than the British by having our TV Week Logie Awards named after him, whereas the BBC only ranked him as 44 out of the 50 most influential people in broadcasting. In 1928, he made the first transatlantic broadcast, which attracted the Americans. So television started to go downhill almost immediately. Interestingly enough, one Philo Farnsworth was the main culprit to further development into electronics, and he invented the video camera 2 years before the television, thus proving that Americans don't really care what they watch. We had an insatiable thirst for the telly. The family would gather round it each night to drink in its wisdom, especially after the 7 o'clock news on the ABC, when we could watch the latest shows like Bewitched, Gilligan's Island, Hogan's Heroes, little suspecting we would be watching the reruns for the next 20 years or more. These would be followed by such local cop dramas as Homicide or Division 4, then very much later, Blue Heelers. Of course, a history of the golden age of Aussie TV could not be complete without the mention of the soaps, like Neighbours or Home and Away, though I really wish it could. And every evening after these gems was the Mavis Bramston Show, our first comedy sketch show, in Melbourne Tonight, starring Graham Kennedy. Graham reached a pinnacle of notoriety for doing crow calls. It also starred Bert Newton, who I think might have actually retired, but has been almost inescapable for so many years. This show was eventually replaced by The Don Lane Show, also with Bert. This was the age of variety shows. The first cooking show was the Galloping Gourmet, Graham Kerr, who measured wine into dishes by glugs, while he glugged down a fair portion himself. There was no mention of reality TV shows, renovation shows, Big Brother, or any of the horrors yet to come.
Before 2011, broadcast television had little to fear regarding its place as the non-stop content-producing machine that everyone wanted to watch and be a part of. It dominated households, careers, and the childish ambitions of obnoxious, untalented nobodies becoming world famous by participating in obscenely fake reality shows. Even with the advent of the internet, it had little to fear, as it mainly consisted of memes, pornography, and an abundance of cat videos.
Am I a cat?
However, things were about to change. It was no secret that television was becoming less and less popular among the younger generations. Countless polls and surveys conducted by The Guardian, The New York Times, Forbes, and various websites from 2012 to 2017 have documented a significant dip in popularity concerning the number of younger people who watch television, instead opting for online media and services. YouTube alone had grown into a new media powerhouse, offering a much different breed of varied content that broadcast television simply didn't have. And once the popular streaming service Netflix began producing its own shows in 2012, it was clear that the television was falling out of relevancy. Never before had we been given more avenues for media to flourish, especially in video form, beyond what was available in film and television. The internet became a bastion of new, weird and unconventional media, such as GIFs, flash animations, random nonsensical YouTube videos on just about anything. Media completely unhindered by the fuddy-duddy focus groups and advertising firms of old. Thanks to Netflix and other streaming services, people no longer had to work their schedules around their favourite programs by that which was ordained by the TV guide, which, incidentally, was rarely accurate to begin with. Nor would people have to fire up their VCRs and tape their shows while they were out at work and had to watch them later. By 2016, Netflix alone was now available in 190 countries, with hundreds of hours worth of films, television shows and original programming, while YouTube was continuing to grow as the most dominant video hosting website on the planet, with millions of users logging in every day. It doesn't take much effort to notice just how sharp broadcast television's nosedive from grace has been. Take a 10-minute session of channel surfing and you'll find almost bugger all worth watching that you've either already seen 1,000 times before, or see things that made you turn it off in the first place. Thanks to Netflix being able to release entire seasons of shows and allowing people to binge watch said seasons in a single afternoon, nobody wants to wait weeks on end for the bloody telly to decide whether or not it even wants to air another episode. And now, they don't need to. Television has become so desperate, they're willing to make shows about beard growing. Think about that. They're so bloody desperate, yet creatively bankrupt, that they'll dedicate a half-hour time slot to a program about fucking hair growth. In recent times, broadcast television has taken a page from film's book and is trying to ride the nostalgia gravy train by rebooting dead shows from 20 years ago with little to no success. It really does seem that the writing is on the wall and broadcast television is on life support. Question is, does broadcast television as we know it have a foreseeable future?
Cable TV is starting to adapt to current model of streaming, but our government in its wisdom decided to gut the NBN. Can we cope with a nation streaming all at once? The airwaves are becoming more crowded as mobile data takes up more bandwidth. I truly feel that broadcast will outlive me, but the next generation will regard it as quaint. outdated as VHS, Betamax and floppy disks.
I honestly don't see a future for broadcast television as we know it. Its structure is far too arcane and obtuse in the current era of media consumption, and will die a quick death as the big old television channel stations sell off all their assets to the highest bidder. The only people still watching broadcast television are senior citizens who don't know how to use the internet, and they're not getting any younger. Personally, I predict by 2030, or slightly sooner, broadcast television will be but a distant memory. Essentially, the internet killed the television star.